Well, there we go. We got our asteroids running on the oscilloscope. The screen doesn't work, the vector. And surprisingly enough, the audio you're hearing is from our mouse-eating speaker. This thing shakes a heck of a lot. You can see the wires. But yeah, you get a pretty good view of that CRT now. If I want to, I can, or the vector monitor, I can go ahead and take that out and clean it up a bit. I've got to do some work on the boards anyways, because she's a vegetable. She doesn't do a whole lot right now. I get a little bit of something when I power her on, and then nothing. I've got to let the caps drain out before it does anything again. So it needs a little bit of work. But yeah, I mean, it'll be way easier to take it out now. I can just take it out from the back rather than having to take it out from the front of the cabinet. Okay, I've gone through quickly, checked over everything. Fuses are all good on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace the capacitors because I got a kit for them. Something I did notice though, especially on this board, we've got cold solder joints on our, it's not on this side, it's over here, on these connectors that go to those transistors. From what I know about these vector boards, that will just completely flatline it. So I'm gonna go ahead and reflow the solder on all these connections, including the ones that look fine, just to be safe. I'm gonna do the same here as well, because some of these high voltage ones, that one over there, I don't know if you can see it, that one is a broken solder joint as well. So we're just gonna go through and reflow everything that we see, and then replace all the capacitors that I have replacements for. I also went through and checked our transistors. These two are good. This one measures a little low, but it's still within range, so it should be fine. But over on here, these top two are bad. So you get half a signal on this one, and this one both ways doesn't give us anything. So I ordered some replacements of these, and I'll replace those when I get those in. But for the meantime, I'm just gonna reflow the solder and replace the caps. All right, so I replaced the two bottle cap transistors up there that had bad values. And I also replaced the fuses because I read that you can have, with the fuses being this old, they can read fine with a multimeter, but under load, they'll actually drop your voltage like a resistor. So I went ahead and swapped out both of these with new ones, which also, this fuse was replaced with a 7 amp slow blows when it's slow blow, when it's normally supposed to be a 5 amp. So that could have messed something up if we had a voltage spike or something. But it's fixed now, should be good. We also had, it wasn't fully broken, but we had a trace that had kind of a slice halfway through it on our heater line, which is just it just runs right underneath here real quick. So I went ahead and sanded that down and put a little solder on it just to make sure it was good. Checked all of our traces, made sure that the lines went all the way up to our heater, which they do. And now when I turn it on, we look at that little heater in there. You see the little coil turn red and start to glow. So our heater now is on and working. And if we look at our screen, it's dim now. If you give it a second to heat up, we've got an image. Now, if you don't know much about CRTs, you're gonna look at this and be like, David, that's not an image. Look at it, it's a flat line. this is our image, but it's collapsed. So it's only drawing our image horizontally and not doing any of the vertical stuff. So you can see like all the stuff moving around. Those are our asteroids and the ships and stuff. But it's only drawing it on one line instead of doing all of the up and down and whatnot. So we've got an issue with our vertical image. So what we'll need to do for that is, I'm not sure. We'll likely have to read up on it. It could also be that we have some bad bottle caps. I just replaced these two up top, so these should be good. It could be that our connector or our little connections here are not great. So I'm gonna take those out and clean them first before I do anything else. And then I will probably go ahead and start reading up on some stuff if that doesn't fix it. But this is a great step up to actually have some video coming out of the monitor now. Even if our image is collapsed vertically, we can fix that. That's not a huge issue. It happens pretty commonly with any type of CRT and these arcade cabinets. So I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. So let's go ahead and read up on that and fix it. Okay, I took the deflection board out and I went ahead and sanded down all the little pins here for our transistors and our video inputs and all that stuff. I sanded them all down because I checked all the stuff that would normally cause vertical collapse. None of it was bad. All the fuses or stuff on it are good. So I was like, I don't know what it is. Let me just sand them down. Threw it back in here. And our vertical is good. Now our image is stretched a lot because it's not properly adjusted to the screen. But we have video working. So I need to go ahead and adjust this and then we'll see what we can get. Alright, last thing I'm gonna do for this monitor is fix all that squiggly lines we got. I'm taking out the old blue capacitors that they have for this vector. And I went ahead and got some replacements from Arcade Parts and Repairs. And we're gonna go ahead and swap these in and hopefully that'll fix our squiggly lines and give us a little cleaner of an image. So we'll see. Swap them out. They're just held in just like big blue capacitors are on these Atari cabinets. They're just held in with screws, and then they just have this little bracket you tighten around it to keep them from being able to move around on the board. So they're not too hard to swap out. One last little thing for this monitor. I was realizing that the heater wasn't turning on in the back of the tube. So I went through and checked all my connections straight from the power supply all the way up to the heater. And where I found I had an issue was in between this prong here, which is our 5 volts, all the way up to this resistor. Here to here is fine. So I knew we had an issue here. I went ahead and put a wire there just to bridge that gap where that trace is, because it's cut off somewhere. I stripped off a little bit of the copper here, and it seemed fine here, so I just went ahead and decided, let me just put a wire over it. It won't hurt anything. And now I get a stable connection. So now our tube works. There's always just that stupid heater line that wasn't working and they just need to be recapped. But that's where that whole issue was. And without that heater being on, the whole tube doesn't work. So it's dumb, but it's an easy enough fix. It's just annoying to have to try and find. But now we should be good to turn it on. Would you look at that? Now our heater's on, which means we should have video. There it is. Lovely. It needs a little adjusting. It's kind of high up in that corner. It's not terrible, but yeah, it's definitely lower here than it is up here. That looks good. Our lines are a little jagged, and I can't seem to get that to be fixed. So that's unfortunate. But at least now we can play. That's backwards. exhaust isn't working too good. I might need to clean it. Hyperspace works out. Oh, it just died instantly. Cool. Ah. Cool. That looks pretty good. Pretty good. Huh, look at that. Where are you? Careful.
It's gonna spawn you in a rock or something.
Yeah, if you're not careful, it'll get you killed. How are you not dead? There it is.